Right here, Juan Salas. I was impressed with how disciplined the 49ers defense was containing Hurts, stopping the run game. Look, and that's the thing. Whenever you look at the game plan that the 49ers put into effect, man, thank you, Juan. Um, they were not going out there trying to, you know, take over and break the sack record. Listen to Nick Bosa talk about the game plan, and it worked to perfection.
It was definitely an assignment focus game. We had to make Jalen focus on the rush more than looking downfield, and we knew that was the key to the game. So our whole mentality was we're not trying to set the record on sacks. We're trying to close the pocket. We're trying to get his eyes on us, and obviously really good O-line, and he helps him out with how he evades, and you can't really pick a side when you're rushing those guys because you know Jalen's watching you. He's trying to get out of the pocket and win that way. So I think we did a really good job of just closing in on him.
And so, like, they weren't trying to get sacks. They were trying to keep Jalen. They were trying to force Jalen to beat them by throwing the ball. He's a running back. He's a good. I actually really like Jalen Hurts as a person. I really, really do. He's very, very gifted. He's very, very talented. But, like, he's not a pocket passer. And so the 49ers wanted to contain him. Don't let him rush. Don't let him get all those extra yards and force him to beat you through the air. He couldn't do it. He couldn't even get close. It worked. And, you know, you look at, having said that, not trying to get all those sacks. The 49ers got 46 pressures in this game. 46. To put that into perspective, the Eagles got 16. That is 30 more pressures than the Eagles in this single game. That was domination. And guess which team plays with 5 D linemen? Yeah, it's not the 49ers. We play with 4. So we got 46 pressures with 4. They got 16 pressures with 5. You see what I'm saying? It's not the same. And guess who has the quote unquote best offensive line out there? Yeah, I mean, it's just different. Now, listen to Fred talk about it too, and you can hear some of the overlap with Fred and Bosa on the game plan, and it translates to what we saw on the field defensively for the 49ers.
Yeah, I mean, we knew that it wasn't going to be one of those games where we're just rushing up the field trying to get those sack numbers and all those sorts of things. We had to play a complete overall, defensive game where everybody's doing their job, doing their assignment on every given play because, they're liable to obviously get a big play at any moment. Jalen Hurts is an outstanding football player. I mean, you saw it all tonight, even him extending some of those plays. But, having played him last year and knowing how the game was going to go, we knew we had to stop him in the run game. And then, obviously, when he had to pass the ball, we had to keep him contained. And for the most part, I think we did that.
It's so cool hearing the overlap. You know what I mean? And when people that don't know football, I'll say this. From an outsider looking in that maybe hasn't like played or coached or whatever, you look at the big names and you see CMC, you see Ayuk, you see Bosa, you see these names and you're like, wow, well, this team's just really, really good. But whenever you watch the tape and you watch the games and you study and you listen to the players, it's very easy to buy into the narrative that like, oh, the 49ers are just more talented than everybody else. That's very easy to do. And maybe not even wrong. But the more and more you watch the tape and the more and more you listen to the players, the thing that separates this team isn't so much that they're so much talented than everybody else. It's that they out-execute everybody. Everybody. What's the game plan? Execute the damn game plan consistently. And guess what? It works. And so, yeah, Brock Purdy out there scrambling for his life and throwing off the back foot 40 plus yards all the time? No, he does have those plays, but that's not the way in which this team wins. The way in which this team wins is a well-oiled, well-defined machine where everybody knows their damn role and you execute your role. That helps the piece next to you. The sum of our parts is greater, right? And that is what you continue to see. So the talent is there. I'm not saying the 49ers aren't talented. That's not the argument. The argument is what makes this team the best team in the NFL? There's lots of talented teams out there. It's the execution. It's everybody does their role better than other teams do. We out execute. When we destroyed the Seattle Seahawks and Pete Carroll after the game said they didn't do anything special. They just executed better than we did. He was not wrong. He wasn't. I hate Pete Carroll. I can't stand that man. But he was right, and he knows football. He's a damn good coach. Not against 49ers uh, or against ethics committees, but he knows football, right? Now, keep that argument, right? Those two things that I just put out there. Now listen to Kyle Shanahan, the head coach, who comes up with this game plan, explain why he was impressed with the defensive line.
Oh, a ton. I mean, it goes against everything in those guys' DNA and their coach's DNA. Everything. Those guys want to tee off and go rush the quarterback every play, but and they did at times. But you got to know who you're playing and the style of how that team beats people. And I thought our guys were very disciplined today, as disciplined as we have been that I can remember going against a mobile quarterback. And he still made a ton of plays like we knew he would. But our guys just kept rallying, and I know they covered a lot of ground out there. I was glad we got some extra guys up to rotate. And again, I'll watch on the plane, but I was really proud of those guys.
The discipline, going against what you feel is right, you know what I mean, or easy to get upfield and get that sack. So cool, man. Now, if we look at the top 5 PFF grades defensively, Fred Warner was number 1, 90.2. And it's weird because you don't remember a lot of like freak, absolute stud Fred Warner plays. He was just so consistently great. He was so great, man. I don't understand how this dude's not getting the mentions into Defensive Player of the Year with how consistent he has been. You know, the opening part of the year where, you know, Nick Bosa maybe wasn't doing great, or, you know, the corners maybe weren't doing great or whatever. Fred Warner has consistently been great. Game in, game out. He has been his best at the biggest games this year, and it's just been consistently amazing. I mean, he's a lock for all pro, but that's not enough. That's not enough. What 5-4 is putting out there, it's not enough. This is Defensive Player of the Year, absolute beast. Fred Warner is he's the best linebacker in the game. That's simple. But good Lord. You lose, you know, you're Robin. He's Batman, right? And Oren Burks comes in, plays great, by the way. I love Oren Burks. But golly, Fred Warner, just everything is him. He's the glue. He's the CMC. You know what I mean? Gosh, he's so good. We are going to look back. And, you know, in the offseason, I love offseason because I get to go straight nostalgia as much as I want to when there's no new information out. And, you know, we debate top 5 best linebackers, best to wear number 54, you know, all this stuff, whatever else. We are now in the realm where we are going to have a very difficult conversation on who the 49ers best linebacker is all time. We're in that. You know, everybody kept saying for the longest time, like, man, Fred's kind of creeping up a little bit on that Bowman Willis territory. Nah, he ain't creeping. He there. He is there. He is there. And so, you know, it just Fred Warner. And I'm very thankful because, you know, as I'm a fan, right? So like I try my I can't wear more Niners stuff, right? And I've been offered jobs to have credentials and write and whatever. Maybe one day I'll take those. Right now, I just want to be a fan. I want to enjoy my team, and I want to share that experience with you guys, and hopefully I can increase your fan experience, right? What are the 2 goals of this damn podcast? Make game days better for you. And 2, hopefully can bridge you into the community with some other awesome people that are positive and care about this fan base, right? How do we start every show, right? What's going on, faithful? How do we end every show? Stay strong, faithful. Like, that's what we're about. Whenever I got to hang out with I get to hang out with Patrick Willis next week. That's not what I was talking about. When I got to hang out with Fred Warner with my family for the Vegas thing, that was just so cool. And people were like, oh, don't meet your heroes or whatever. I'm not saying Fred Warner's really my hero. Greenlaw probably is. It was just cool because you see somebody on the field and go out and do all these things, and then you meet him, and he's an even better person than you ever thought he would be, and like spends time talking to your son after he's already been paid for the time he's been there. Like, that's just cool as hell. And that fits what we are about here. And I just freaking love this dude. He's in the conversation of the best linebacker in 49ers history. which is crazy because right now, as we speak, Patrick Willis is a semifinalist for the Hall of Fame. Fred Warner will be there soon one day, but not this day. Hopefully, he's got a lot longer. Now, before we jump into the other grades, if you're coming out to the Seahawks game, the most important game is 3 weeks in a row, the most important game left on our schedule. We're going to be tailgating out in Blue Lot 1. We've got it. It's going to be catered. We've got food. We've got prizes. We're giving away a ridiculous amount of stuff. It's going to be a blast. Head to 49ersrushroadtrip.com. Get your tickets. Ticket prices do go up the day of, so don't wait. Probably going to have to raise ticket price because I have to give final numbers to the caterer 2 days before. So after that, I have to bump up the price. So come party with us. If money's an issue, don't let that be a reason why you do not come party with us. Just reach out. 49ers Rush Podcast at gmail.com. You can help set up. You can help tear down. You can help, get ice on drinks. You can help something. We want you to come party with us. I do have to pay a lot of money for all the parking passes and the food and the drinks and all that stuff. And hopefully we can cover those expenses. But I want you to come out and party with us. Then after that, next week out in Arizona, baby, we're going to be at McFadden's with Patrick Willis. He's coming out, man. We were able to get him out, which is going to be great. Meet and greet, autograph, all those things. Saturday, December 16th from 2 to 7 p.m. Gosh, it's going to be awesome. 49ersrushroadtrip.com. And then we've got our tailgate the day after out on the extension outside of McFadden's, which is going to be a blast. Really expect that to be a big tailgate. Mimosas, Bloody Marys, all that kind of stuff in the morning. We're going to have a good time. We're going to have a really good time there.